Miss Rhumphius by Barbara Cooney. To St. Nicholas, patron saint of children, sailors, and maidens. The lupine lady lives in a small house overlooking the sea. In between walks around her house grow purple and rose-colored flowers. The lupine lady is little and old, but she has not always been that way. I know. She is my great-aunt. She told me so. Once upon a time, she was a little girl named Alice who lived in a city by the sea. From the front stoop, she could see wharves and the bristling masts of the tall ships. Many years ago, her grandfather had come to America on a large sailing ship. Now he worked in a shop at the bottom of the house, making figureheads for the prows of ships and carving Indians out of wood to put in the front of cigar stores. For Alice's grandfather was an artist. He painted pictures, too, of sailing ships and places across the sea. When he was very busy, Alice helped him put in the skies. In the evening, Alice sat on her grandfather's knee and listened to his stories of faraway places. When he'd finished, Alice would say, "When I grow up, I too will go to faraway places, and when I grow old, I too will live beside the sea." "That is all very well, little Alice," said her grandfather, "but there is a third thing you must do." "What is that?" asked Alice. "You must do something to make the world more beautiful," said her grandfather. "All right," said Alice, but she did not know what that could be. In the meantime, Alice got up and washed her face and ate porridge for breakfast. She went to school and came home and did her homework, and pretty soon she was a grown-up. My great-aunt Alice set out to do the 3 things she had told her grandfather that she would do. She left home and went to live in another city far away from the sea and the salt air. Then she worked in the library, dusting books and keeping them from getting mixed up and helping people find the ones they wanted. Some of the books told her of faraway places. People called her Miss Rhumphius now. Sometimes she went to the conservatory in the middle of the park. When she stepped inside on a wintry day, the warm, moist air wrapped itself around her and the sweet smell of jasmine filled her nose. "It's almost like a tropical isle," said Miss Rhumphius. But not quite. So Miss Rhumphius went to a real tropical island where people kept cockatoos and monkeys as pets. She walked on long beaches, picking up beautiful shells. One day she met Baparaja, king of a fishing village. "You must be tired," he said. "Come to my house and rest." So Miss Rhumphius went in and met Baparaja's wife. The Baparaja himself fetched a green coconut and cut off a slice off the top so Miss Rhumphius could drink the coconut water inside. Before she left, the Baparaja gave her a beautiful mother of pearl shell on which he had painted a bird of paradise in the world. "You will always remain in my heart." "You will always remain in mine," said Miss Rhumphius. On the porch of her new... No, that's not right. I've skipped a page. Here it is. My great-aunt, Miss Alice Rhumphius, climbed tall mountains where the snow never melted. She went through jungles and across deserts. She saw lions playing and kangaroos jumping, and everywhere she made friends she would never forget. Finally, she went to the land of the lotus eaters, and there, getting off a camel, she hurt her back. "What a foolish thing to do," said Miss Rhumphius. "Well, I've certainly seen faraway places. Maybe it's time to find a place by the sea." And it was, and she did. Here we are. From the porch of her new house, Miss Rhumphius watched the sun come up. She watched it set in the glory of the evening. She started a little garden among the rocks that surrounded her house and planted a few flower seeds in the stony ground. Miss Rhumphius was almost perfectly happy. "But there's still one more thing I have to do," she said. "I have to do something to make the world more beautiful." "But what? The world is already pretty nice," she thought as she looked over the ocean. The next spring, Miss Rhumphius was not very well. Her back was bothering her again, and she had to stay in bed most of the time. The flowers she had planted the summer before had come up and bloomed in spite of the stony ground. She could see them from her bedroom window. Blue and purple and rose-colored. Lupines, said Miss Rhumphius with satisfaction. I've always loved lupines the best. I wish I could plant more seeds this summer so that I could have more flowers next year. But she was not able to. After a hard winter, spring came. Miss Rhumphius was feeling much better. Now she could take walks again. One afternoon, she started to go up and over the hill where she had not been in a long time. Can't believe my eyes, she cried when she was going over the top. For there on the other side was a large patch of blue and purple and rose-colored lupines. It was the wind, she thought, as she knelt in delight. It was the wind that brought the seeds from my garden here, and the birds must have helped. Then Miss Rhumphius had a wonderful idea. She hurried home, got out her seed catalogs. She sent off the very best seed house for 5 bushels of lupine seed. All that summer, Miss Rhumphius, her pockets full of seeds, wandered over the hills and headlands sowing lupines. She scattered seeds over highways and down country lanes. She flung handfuls of them around the schoolhouse and the back of the church. She tossed them into hollows and along stone walls. Her back didn't hurt her at all anymore. Now some people called her that crazy old lady. The next spring there were lupines everywhere. Fields and hillsides were covered with blue and purple and rose-colored flowers. They bloomed along highways and down the lanes. Bright patches lay along the schoolhouse and back of the church. Down in the hollows and along the stone walls grew the beautiful flowers. Miss Rhumphius had done the third and most difficult thing of all. My great Aunt Alice, Miss Rhumphius, is very old now. Her hair is very white. Every year there are more and more lupines. Now they call her the Lupine Lady. Sometimes my friends stand with me outside her gate, curious to see the old lady in the field of lupines. When she invites us in, they come slowly. They think she is the oldest woman in the world. Often she tells us stories of faraway places. When I grow up, I tell her I too will go to faraway places and come home to live by the sea. That is all very well, little Alice, says my aunt, but there's a third thing you must do. What is that, I ask. You must do something to make the world more beautiful. All right, I say. I do not know yet what that can be. About the book. The illustrations were painted in acrylics with accents of Prismacolor pencils and gesso-colored percale fabric mounted on illustration board. The art was camera separated and printed in 4 colors. The text type is Gaudi Old Style and the display type is Gaudi Cursive. But thanks to Hilda.